Hello, 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 hello. So sometimes in filmmaking and in life, things go wrong. They don't go the way you planned, and there's nothing you can do about that. You can only roll with the punches. Life doesn't care about your plan. So that happens, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. More about the filmmaking side and less about the life side, but filmmaking is my life. So, in case you missed it, the third episode of Season 1 of Jack and Dean of All Trades was uploaded to our YouTube channel the other day, and that was to celebrate the fact that all of Season 2 has now premiered, which means that everything is now available for Jack and Dean of All Trades. It's all out there for you to see and binge whenever you like. So, in case you didn't get a chance to watch that yet, it will be the first link in the description for you to check out, because that's what we're going to be talking about today, is my experience making that episode, because it is my favourite one from Season 1, but it is also the episode that changed the most. And that's unusual, that's weird. People usually like the opposite. They like their ideas to stay the same through every single part of the process. The reason I'm so fond of it, I think, as well, is because it's the original... It's the pilot idea when we wrote the first script for it in August 2014. The only joke that stayed the same throughout all the drafts up until the produced episode that you can watch is when Jack says, "It's all well and good, but when are you going to get a proper job?" And just a side note as well, that idea came from when Dean and I were hanging out. We were just walking through our town, our hometown of Long Eaton, and we walked past somebody who was pushing a pushchair, and there was a baby in the pushchair as well. It's not just somebody pushing an empty, that would be mental. But there was a baby in the pushchair, obviously, and the baby gurgled like babies do, and the mum said, "Yeah, it's all well and good, but when are you going to get a proper job?" And that made Dean and I laugh so much that I noted it down, and it's now in the thing that we made. This is not what the video is about, but I always get asked, where do you get your ideas? And that's a good example. It's about listening to the things around you, noting down anything that you find amusing, even if it's not like gut-wrenchingly funny or interesting. It might be something, like it might be a little seed that will grow into an idea tree. I don't know, I've lost whatever this is. But back to the episode and why it went wrong and how we fixed it. In the script originally, it took place in a park, not a pub, which, and I know hindsight is 2020, but it's now so painfully obvious to me that a pub is a much funnier setting for a baby to be taken to than a park. A park is where we wanted to go because I think we wanted adults and children to be able to go there separate of each other and it not to be weird, but there's nothing funny about taking a baby to a park. Just taking a baby to a pub is already funny. Another reason why that was a stupid idea is because we were filming this in November of 2015, and I don't know if you know about the weather in London, in England in general. It ain't good. There's footage of this version somewhere as well. We didn't get very far into the day. We filmed the scene that now takes place around a table with the baby, and up to the bit where I'm on the phone to my mum, and that's where I had a strop. I'll get to that. But basically, when you're filming outside, you don't often light it. You don't bring lights and try and overpower the sun. But what you can do is, I'm not a director of photography. I just watch what Kieran does, and this is what I know. You build flags so that there's big sheets of black that then create shadow on the actor's face. But because it was starting to rain, they built basically a makeshift gazebo, and we were doing the scene inside this little space, which already was a bit weird, and I felt a bit agitated by the idea that this was not going as well as it could be. So it starts raining, and I can hear the pitter-patter of the rain on the bloody tent, and I can feel it on my face, and then I see little driplets on my eyes, and this is where I have the strop. I'm in the middle of a take on the phone, and I just go, no, this is ridiculous, let's stop this. Now, cancelling a shoot isn't uncommon, but it's never really a good thing to do. You should always try and push on, because otherwise you're just wasting a day and people's time, and you're paying for nothing. Not only did we have the crew, but we had actors. Emily Joyce, who plays my mum, Alex Lowe, who plays my dad, and Louise, Sprinkle of Glitter, had come along. Actually, as well, Louise was originally supposed to be playing the baby's mum. In the episode, I wanted it to be implied that Marv and Louise knew each other. She calls her chummy, which is obviously a reference to Louise, and that's still in there.
It's cash in hand, it's my chummy's little fella.
Because at that point, when we filmed with Jessica Hines to film that scene, we didn't know that Louise wouldn't be playing that part ultimately. We were trying to organise another day for her to come down to London and do it, but Louise is a very, very, very busy person. So now we've got another problem, which is that we wanted Louise to be in this show, and now she can't be. So what we did is we used the rest of that day, we moved everybody to the production office, sent a few people home who weren't needed anymore, and I got on the phone to our co-writer Paul Neefsey, and I said, I explained the whole situation, and I was like, right, what we need now is a couple of cameo scene ideas. We need a few half-page ideas of what we could do with Louise, because we don't have that much longer with her, and I still want her to be in the show. Neefsey sent those scenes over, I picked my favourite one, we filmed it with Louise, problem solved. But now we had the problems, 3 of them, that we didn't know where in the script that was going to be. We actually didn't know where Jack and Dean were going to be because we definitely weren't going to do it in a park again. And now we had a character that didn't have a cast. We didn't have someone to play the baby's mum. Luckily, we have an amazing team. People like Becky Hewitt, who is our producer and casting person, who has worked on a lot of stuff with us now and a lot of other YouTube things. She produced like Dodie's new music video and Sammy's stuff, and I think she's worked with Bertie as well. Like, she worked on Playground, so she's like the best. She's the best. And combined with my agent Matthew, who knows everybody, using their skills combined, they managed to convince somehow Kerry Godliman from like Derek and stuff to come and be in our show, which is amazing. Then we were just left with the problem of where do we set the episode, and we decided a pub because obviously that's just funny. You just cut to 2 guys taking their baby to a pub and that's just a laugh already. I rewrote it. We were filming an episode in a restaurant. That's episode 4 of season 1, and I rewrote it like at lunch and when people were setting up and stuff. Just whenever I had a chance, I was just sitting at my laptop changing specific location actions and just all the stuff to do with it being at a park and transferring it to a pub, changing little jokes, adding little new ones in. It was a challenge. It was, and it's the one that went through the most drafts and the most changes, and it was also really hard to write as well because of the voice changing stuff. So it was an episode that took a lot of brain power. And there's still little plot holes in it as well, like the second baby. It might have been funnier if the second baby wasn't white, because that would have really hammered in the joke of all babies look the same, racist. But I don't know if it changes it to actually being offensive. But it was the episode that went through the most changes. Ultimately, I guess the lesson is that things go wrong and you should just go in expecting that to be the case, because it's never going to go smoothly. And when it does, you're always waiting for something to go wrong, so you should always be on your toes, because that's what it always will be at any level. You can ask any director, if you ever get the chance, ask them if that ever goes away, and I guarantee they'll say no. You'll constantly be compromising, constantly be fighting against some sort of conflict. And the best thing you can do is adapt to that situation, because you never know, you might come out with something that's better than what you originally intended it to be. That's what happened to us. That's not going to be the case every time, but you might as well go with it, because you never know. That's what life is as well. It's just rolling with the punches. That was deep. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. My last video is here and the Jack and Dean video is here. Click on either of them if you want to stay with me and see more of this face, which obviously you do. Also give it a like, because if you liked it, that just makes sense. You see this one, ignore it. Ignore that, just that.